An important piece of our process in any election campaign. And it's a pleasure for me to introduce somebody that I've known for, I don't know, 20 plus years. I was going to say a few words, and that's Councillor Brian Skaken. So Brian, come on up, and thank you very much for being here.
Thanks.
Good to see you.
Thanks.
The floor is yours.
I guess I got to put on one of Garth's buttons here first. I just wanted to acknowledge everybody that's here today supporting Garth like I am. You know, Garth and I think we've been together 3 terms on council. And you know, Garth is an incredibly hard-working city councillor. He's dedicated not only to the community, but his work with the Federation of Canadian Municipalities takes him basically all over the world. And Garth does a lot of lobbying on behalf of municipalities all over for infrastructure money, different legislative initiatives. And he does a lot of the work behind the scenes that people don't really see. And I think that it's important that people really know what Garth does, because it's such an important thing that you don't necessarily need to get headlines and be really vocal on a number of issues to be effective. Garth is effective with what he does. He comes to council, he's prepared. And I don't know if you've ever seen any of the pictures we post on the internet, but Garth really gets along with all the councillors quite well, because Garth has a big drawer full of jelly beans. And when the jelly beans run down or run out, then you know things start happening. But the last meeting, I brought him some extra jelly beans, and he brought a full drawer. So I think we're good till the rest of the term. But Garth, you know, has got a really good sense of humor. He's a dedicated family man. He's dedicated to the city of Prince George, and you know, Garth has tremendous support. And I'm here today with the rest of my council colleagues showing support, because this last term for me has been an incredible term. We have such a great team with the city councillors led by Mayor Hall, and I think it's incredible. And you know, on election day, I'll be wearing one of Garth's buttons, so I hope you guys can do the same and get out and vote for Garth Brazil. For sure.
Thanks a lot. Oh, you unfortunately read my whole speech, so I guess we're finished. But good morning. Thank you all for coming out. Much appreciated. I see a lot of council colleagues. I see past UBCM President Murray Krause. I see Councillor Terry McConaughey. Stand up, yeah. Councillor Susan Scott, who filled up the rest of that drawer with the jelly beans. And I see, there's David Fuller and Corey Ramsey have come here today. Who am I missing? Shirley Bond, hello. How are you? Good to see you here today. And of course, our mayor, Lynn Hall, at the back. Much appreciated to all of you for coming out today. So as we're meeting today on the traditional territory of the Lheidli T'enneh, I just want to take a minute to stop and pause, talk a bit about the 4 years. Before I do that, though, Sue couldn't be here today. There's a serious family illness, and she had to rush down to Vancouver Island. She wishes she was here and sends her best wishes to you all. And merci beaucoup Caroline Barbeau-Longhurst. Ici. She's the owner and proprietor and entrepreneur for Au Chocolat here. Thank you for hosting us here today. Isn't that great? She opened her doors to us. The reason that I wanted to come down here was to highlight the fact that if you look right across the street, tremendous news. The construction that's happening, the 153 units that are coming here, people like Carolyn and the business owners down here are looking forward to it, and that's going to be exciting. But with every great step in progress, there's disruption, and that disruption means, well, I know it was hard to get here. I parked over at City Hall and made the maze. Please, while you're down here, buy lunch, buy something from the Keg, from Serengeti, from Crossroads Brewery. Not too much from Crossroads, but please take time with your local small business and make sure that you're generous and buy your things at the local small businesses. Thank you. Merci. I invited you here to announce something. In 2018, I'm going to be seeking re-election for City of Prince George. Yay! So my philosophy. I think of building a city kind of like climbing a mountain. You plan the route, you make a climb, and then you stake out a base camp before you consolidate your gains and get ready for another climb. Last 4 years, we've had startling successes in the city. This council and the council-oriented mayor that we've got have positioned this city so we're ready for tremendous strides in the next 4 years. It's a higher base camp than this city's ever seen, but it only positions us for a lot of work that's coming up ahead. The climb's going to be a big one. Future? Well, that's why citizens run for office, right? It's to make our home better right now, and to make it better for the generations to come. We have to pay for our most essential services. We have to pay for first responders, fire rescue, for RCMP, our roads, our water, our sewer. We're facing massive costs for replacing infrastructure. The bills are coming due, and climate change is making it more extreme. This is going to be expensive work. We have an extraordinary quality of life here. I often point out there's no places like Prince George left. But we know we need better services. We need a park. We need a track. We need recreation in Blackburn. We need facilities up in the heart. What we have is possible because there's no city like us. We've got a diverse work community. We've got significant major industry. We've got incredible light industry. We've got commercial. We're a forestry city, a healthcare city, an education city, a government center, and a high-tech city. And as someone was saying as I came in, we have to be prepared to shoulder jobs that used to be just once-in-a-lifetime things that keep recurring. The largest wildfire in history shocked us last year, but it was followed this year by the second largest wildfire. And you know that meant that our city responded to crisis and opened our doors, but you know, it wasn't designed. Our system wasn't designed to have once-in-a-lifetime events happening every year. So we got work to do there, too. And being ready and succeeding doesn't come cheap. It takes time, it takes a team, and it takes money. The cost of our infrastructure alone isn't easy to cover. So for my first term on council, many of us saw that infrastructure storm coming, and a lot more cost to come from basic works, and you know what? Property tax isn't going to cut it for paying for it. So, what are we going to do? We're not going to hike property taxes again and again and again. Instead, we have to understand how all the orders of government work and how we can work together to solve the problem. With support from council, and only with the support of my wonderful wife, Sue, and fantastic kids, with their support and sacrifice, I've run for and won election to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities for 9 years. The last FCM election puts me in succession, so FCM is going to have their first president from Prince George in 2020. That group's really incredibly effective at advocating. There's 2,000 municipalities across the country being represented by FCM. It's regularly mentioned on Budget Day on Parliament Hill, and most importantly, what matters to Prince George is that FCM's been effective at making the federal government create and implement programs that help us here. We will see the outcome of FCM work this summer and after October 17th, because we need money for the costs that are going to be impacted on us from the cannabis legalization. And that's coming because of work from FCM. Well, there's Frank. Hey, Frank.
How you doing, George?
Good to see you. We did see in the Building Canada Fund $180 billion over 12 years. The federal government is committed to helping us with those infrastructure costs I talked about. And we saw it again in the Strategic Priorities Fund. Murray will know about this one. The Community Works Fund. And both of those are paid by the federal gas tax. Does it matter to Prince George? Well, yeah. That's $3 million a year that comes into Prince George. That's the bulk of the money that we got to fix Massage Place Stadium. That's money that comes out of the gas tax, comes to the city, and helps Prince George, and it's important. Now you also know that the growth of high tech has been core to my interests for a very long time. So I was excited this spring when we got the announcement that the Connect to Innovate grant has gone through. We're going to see a second high-speed fiber line built this spring between Prince George and Dawson Creek. And that's big news. A high-speed fiber optic transmission line means we're opening up whole new opportunities for this city. When I said we're at a new base camp, that fiber optic line means we can start attracting big data centers to come to Prince George. And you know what? This has already become one of our top priorities in economic development in the city. We got things to do, but we've now got the tools to do it, and it's really exciting what's going on. Finally, I just want to say that as we build a better city, we can't just look straight to the future. You got to keep your financial house in order. That's really important. So, first of all, I want to say that with the help of Councillor Everett, Scott, and Mayor Hall on finance and audit, and with the whole council team, we did that. We kept this financial house in order. We set utilities at 0% increase for most of the utilities for most of the term. We set our tax rate that this year alone is going to be lower than the cost of living increase. But finally, the one that we didn't talk about. So we did all that construction. We fixed all that infrastructure. We increased the policing. We did improvements in services, new parks, lighting, and more. And we still, quietly behind the scenes, paid down our debt. So you know we can't generate a deficit, that's the law. But we also, in the course, 2013 to 2017, this council paid off $41 million of the City of Prince George debt. So the new base camp's way up the mountain now. Standards are high, opportunities are here. We're taking care of the business that we're doing, and on October 20th, people of Prince George are going to select a great team to push us forward to the next step. Everything's looking bright. So when you do get to the polls, I'm hoping I can ask for your vote, and I look forward to answering any questions. Before I go though, I do want to give one last thank you to Oshakalot for hosting us. Thank you all for coming out today. Future's bright. Thanks.